Hi, welcome back to Implicit Hebrew Grammar through Elaborative Encoding. We're learning Hebrew in a way that you learned your original language. Very simply, we're not getting into the weeds of the grammar. I'm just giving you enough grammar so that you can read God's Word. We have another series that goes through reading the texts that are in the book, where we read it and we mark it out together. But for now, we're just covering in these short videos the grammatical principles that we have at hand. One of the principles that we have already covered is called the Joseph principle. We covered it as a final step or a second to final step in the other principle that we called the Hezekiah principle, where we parsed verbs. And so, yes, this should sound very similar or familiar to you, because the Joseph principle was, how do we determine what has been added to the backside of a verb? And again, the reason we say add is because Joseph's name means to add. And so this is very similar to what we've already walked through. It should be familiar to you. And so this should be a very quick, easy lesson for you to go, oh, I see what he's doing there in the Hebrew text. Yosef, the letters added to the backside of words or verbs that we studied earlier, can also be added to the backside of other things. Again, Hebrew is a synthetic language. It wants to magnetize words together. And as a result, you will look at a word that's, say, that long, for instance, and you go, I don't know what that is. On the backside, you might find these specific letters that will then help you understand what is going on. There on the chart, we see it there highlighted or circled in red. What we're talking about. We're talking about who might be the recipient of these things. Who might be the recipient of these things? For instance, we can have things added to the backside that will tell us possessive form. So, for instance, we did sus, susi, susa, susom, susot, right? We already covered the sus principle, where person, number, gender, and possessive state of nouns. The adding to the backside there, the I form of the vowel tells me it is the possessive, Malachi, my messenger, Malachi, my messenger. That's what his name means. The backside letters that we discussed in the Hezekiah principle can not only be added to verbs, but it can be added to prepositions. So check this out. We have here on our chart, we have the preposition lamed, which is to. We have the preposition im, which is with. We have the preposition el, which is to or unto. We have the preposition with the mu, or the key, which tells us like or as. We have the preposition mean there, which is from, okay? And so these prepositions, if you add the letters to the backside of it, suddenly now you have to me, lei, li. We have imi, with me. We have eli, unto me. We have kemoni, right? Which is like me. We have mimni, which is from me, okay? And so we have the ability to add the Joseph principle letters that we discussed on the verbs to prepositions. And so then it's to you, to me, from you, etc. From them, to them. And so you have to memorize. Again, the only chart that I have my students memorize is this very simple chart that has all of the course laid out as far as verbs. But these word letters on the backside, the Joseph principle letters, can be added to multiple different things. So first, Joseph principle can be added to not only verbs, but second, it can be added to prepositions. Next, it can be added to nouns, right? It can be added to nouns. Ruach here is spirit or breath or wind, one of those things, right? Ruachi. So my breath, my soul, my spirit, right? And so you see there, you can go through and you can have the E, the Ka, the K, the O, the Ah, the Nu, Kim, Kin, Am, and Him. And so if you go through and you memorize these, you can attach them to masculine nouns. You can attach them to feminine nouns. The feminine noun is going to require a tav being added before the Yosef letters. So in this instance, we have sedekati. Sedek is righteousness, or righteousness, like Melchizedek, king of righteousness. Sedekati is going to be female, my righteousness. Or sedektika, your righteousness. And the list goes on through these things. Now, what determines whether or not it is going to have the tav and be the feminine Yosef principle is if the noun itself is feminine, okay? If the noun itself is feminine. Unlike English, most languages throughout the world attribute a gender to everything. And it beats me what makes them decide if a table is male or female, or if righteousness in this instance is male or female. I just don't know. Somebody that came long before us came up with these principles. Nevertheless, if it's a female noun, then you attach the tav with the Yosef principle on the backside of that noun. You can do this to plural nouns, right? And so you have davar-i. Davar is words. So, but notice whenever you go down further, it's going to stick the yod, the plural, because remember, susi. Susi is not only possessive of my horse, but it's also susi could be the plural of horses. Davar-i, okay, so my words. You have davari ka, your words, davari ke, your words, okay? And you just walk it through that way. So you're going to add the yod is there, telling us that it is plural form of the verb. And then you have the Yosef letters added to the backside saying whose it is. Likewise, you can take feminine nouns that are plural and you can bring them over then and add the possessive states on there in that sense, okay? And so we have Torato, okay, Torat-i, so Torah is feminine, Torat is teachings, plural, but it's still feminine, plural. But then we have Torati, which is my teachings. So feminine, plural, possessive, first person, okay? So you notice these are all the same letters on the backside, so you really need to memorize this one chart. This is it. This one chart will help you with parsing and getting along in that way. Not only can you add the possessives or the Yosef letters to the backside of nouns and prepositions and verbs, but you can add it to the backside of the direct object. The direct object is et in Hebrew, We will say it out loud, but if you're translating into English, we don't put do or direct object on there. We just understand it's direct object. But we know if we're talking, saying that they killed, or they sent, or they did something of that sort, right? Shalach, send. Shalach, like a shellacked bowling alley, you send the bowling ball down it. Shalach is send, and then we have send who or what? Otanu, all right? Send otanu. Send who or what? Send us, okay? Etikem. Send who or what? Send you, right? Plural. And so we go through this. Ot, send me, okay? And so you can take the direct object marker and shove the Joseph principle letters to the backside of it. You don't translate the direct object marker into English. We just jump straight to the Joseph letters and say they're sending what? They're doing the verb to who, to what. And the et plus the Joseph principle is your direct object. You just translate it straightforward, as simple as that. Again, reminding you the one principle that we began this on in regards to the Joseph principle, where we saw it the first time, comes out of the Hezekiah principle. It's step number 4. Look to the backside, see what was added to it, Yosef, and you will then understand who is being the recipient of that particular action. That's what we have today. It's not that difficult. Please, 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 if you're going to memorize one chart, memorize the chart that has all the different Yosef principle letters on it, the perfect and imperfect letters of the verb as well. And that's it. This is Hebrew grammar in implicit ways with elaborative learning. Please, please, please read through the text, read God's word to nourish your soul for today and evermore. I'll see you in the next video.